So good morning, Triinu. How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, really good. Thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome. And we've got
I can
Andy
hear you
listening in.
now. Can
Oh,
you hear
how's it going,
me?
Andy? Yeah, you're right.
Hello. Sorry, that was hard on my brain trying to figure out how to do that.
Now, what we're going to do, Andy, is just have a chat, and then if you've got any questions at the end, we'll give you a shout if that's all right.
Yeah, no worry. You can mute me if you want. I'll be singing away and working and listening to you.
Well, your
Okay.
singing, your
Good, good.
singing might be better than our chat. You never know.
Well, I very much doubt that, to be honest with you.
All right, I'll put you on mute.
Thank you.
So yeah, Triinu, how's it going? I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
Yeah, so I reached out to you and explained I've got a painting group, and it's full of probably techno, what's the word when you're not very good at tech, technophobes. And
Yes.
we all we
I
all
get that.
sort of dabble in a bit of Facebook, a bit of Instagram, and
Yeah.
some may venture into TikToks, but I see a lot of painters on Instagram, and yeah, I
Yeah.
was just wondering if you could give us some inside secrets or how it could potentially help my painters.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, well, I'm a bit biased. I was just going to say Instagram's the place to be, but I would definitely recommend to everyone to really focus on, one social media platform first and really try and master that. I would then introduce a second social media platform and then really just focus on your main two, and then learn how to repurpose your content so you could just be really clever, so you can have a presence on some of the other platforms but without it taking up too much of your time, because obviously you've got a business to run. You can't spend all your time on social media. So of course I'm going to recommend Instagram.
Yeah.
it's it's a visual platform, so it's a brilliant place for painters, for decorators to be, for showing before and after photos, that kind of thing. Yeah, I imagine you've got lots of photo opportunities as you're working, and it's not just of the work that you're doing, but Instagram's all about allowing people to get to know you, so you can build up that know, like, and trust factor so that you stand out from everybody else offering what you're offering. So people come to you because they feel that they've got to know you. You're not just another decorator on Instagram. You're somebody on Instagram who maybe has a Labrador, or lives by the coast, or just giving people nuggets about you and your personality as well. So it's really important to share the behind the scenes. So take photos not just of your work, but of your tools, your equipment, of you going out on a job, where you are, where you're taking your break, that kind of thing, to really, really draw people in.
Yeah, so we were talking a bit before we recorded about sort of Facebook and that, and I know a lot do get work from Facebook, but it's from like perhaps posting in local groups and stuff like that, and there can be
Mm.
restrictions and people don't allow posts. We know Pages hasn't got a particularly good reach.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Facebook groups, as you know. You can do stuff on your personal feed, but in terms of Instagram for reach, is it very similar to Facebook? Only a small percentage see it, or how does it work?
Right. Gosh, that's a big question, really. Um, yeah, so first of all, the big difference is that, yeah, make sure that you've got a business account, but that still means it can still just be you. So it's still like a personal feed. Whereas on Facebook, you've still got to be quite careful, with your personal Facebook feed. You've got to be careful that you're not selling too much. Whereas on Instagram, you can just go for it, really. You can talk about your business on your feed. So reaching people, yes. If you just post and run, so you just stick up a post and you walk away from it, then your reach may well be quite limited. But the key on Instagram is well, the way the algorithm works, and I know that a lot of people are going to be hearing me say algorithm, they're like, oh no. But honestly, the simple way to explain the algorithm is the more people engage on your post, the more people Instagram will show your post to. And you can have an influence on that. So if you just post up and walk away, you're not going to get that much engagement. If you post and, why not ask a question? What do you prefer? Which color do you prefer? What do you think? What are you doing next in your house? I'm sure there's lots of questions that you could be asking. Or if you've put up a more sort of personal style post, this is me out walking my dog. Do you have a dog? You first of all, you put that question in, so you're really encouraging engagement, you're welcoming engagement. People start to interact on your post. It kicks that algorithm in your favor. So Instagram start to see, oh, people are interacting with this post. It must be a really interesting post. And then Instagram send it out to more of the followers you've already got.
Mm-hmm.
But the algorithm also sends it out to more of your potential new followers on the search pages. So it is up to you. I mean, that maybe sounds like quite a bit of work, but that's why I don't suggest that people over post. I suggest that you spend some time that when you post, you get it right. So you get the question in there, and you start trying to encourage engagement on your post. And the best way to do that as well is to jump into the feeds of your ideal customers and start commenting on their posts to draw attention back to you.
Okay.
So yeah.
So just from a decorator's point of view, so I'm in Hemel Hempstead and I've got an Instagram account and I use it for my, other business. But where do I start? So I start rather than just, we can do before and after photos, but they get a bit boring, start engagement posts, questions, bit behind the scenes, bit about me. I've got a few followers, not quite sure who they are. So I type it all up. How do we draw people? So I'm in Hemel Hempstead. How do we target people from Hemel Hempstead or Hertfordshire in doing a post I mean, would you say you can get business from it? Is it targeted in the sense of if you hashtag your area, people in that area are likely to see it?
Yes, you definitely can get business from it. So there's different ways of using hashtags. So you use hashtags in your posts that your ideal customers are going to be looking up. But if you want to actively, and I would suggest that everyone actively goes out and finds their ideal customers, then you can look up hashtags that your ideal customers might be using. But you could also look up other accounts that your ideal customers might be following. So if you think about some businesses that are local to you, Hemel Hempstead, I don't even know where that is actually. Sorry, I'm up in Scotland. That's terrible.
It's not much to say about Hemel Hempstead.
But yeah, so I would look up other local businesses,
right,
that you think that your ideal customers might be following.
Okay.
So
yeah, if
really
you look at sorry to interrupt. So if you look at local businesses, say in Hemel Hempstead, they will more than likely have followers which are in Hemel Hempstead. To which would you friend request or not?
So you would, let's say you find a good local business. You have a look at who's following them. You start going down the list, and I wouldn't bother about the private accounts. I wouldn't worry about them. Just scroll on past them. Go into people who've got public accounts, and it's a bit more subtle than that, really. I think if you think that, oh my goodness, this is absolutely my ideal customer, then click follow. But what's going to get you noticed is if you comment on their posts.
Okay.
You can drop a few likes, but if you actually comment on their posts, they're going to say, oh, well, who's this? They click on your link, they come through to your Instagram feed, and as long as you've got it clearly stated in your bio, you know, who you are, what you do, who you help, what you offer, then they're going to come through and go, oh, this is just what I'm looking for. And then of course it's just human nature. Some people may go, I've got a job, I need somebody to do it. This looks like the perfect person. Other people are going to follow you, you know, for weeks, for months before they make that decision to book you. Or maybe they don't need you right now anyway, but they need your services next year. But that's
Mm.
the way to do it. And I think, do you know what I love about Instagram? I mean, I am obviously on Facebook as well, so not knocking Facebook, but
Mm.
if you think about it, if you were to go to your ideal customer's private Facebook profile and comment on one of their photos, you know, they might block you.
I reckon so.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's not the same on Instagram. If somebody's Instagram account is set to public, then they expect comments to come through. So if you on Instagram go to their Instagram feed and comment, and it could be any kind of comment at all, it might be something to do with your area of expertise, or it might literally just be a case of, you know, this looks amazing, or they might be giving out advice and you might be saying, oh, that's such a good hint or tip. But it's going to land so much better on Instagram. You can do that on Instagram. People receive that so much better than on like you say on Facebook.
Yeah.
You need to, it's more getting into the groups, which can work, but you know, there's lots of other people commenting on the same posts, and you do have certain restrictions, yeah, as well.
So just run it past me, just so I can get it clear in my head, because
Mm.
I'm not an Instagrammer. So say I do hand painted kitchens for a local company in Harpenden, right? So they've got an
Okay.
Instagram account. I could look at who's following their Instagram. They're like high-end kitchens. So they're going to be
Okay.
customers potentially looking at their Instagram and all these wonderful bespoke kitchens. But then the people following that particular kitchen company, I wouldn't necessarily be able to comment on, look at their profile and make a comment on their post, because it might just be, they might be my ideal customer. They might live in a multi-million-pound house, but I wouldn't be able to necessarily comment on, look at their feed and comment on it, because it might just be pictures of them out with their family or events they've been to and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yes, you can though.
So say my ideal
I
customer,
know
go
it
on.
sounds, do you know, it's you're feeling uncomfortable about it. That's what it
Mm.
is. Um, and and it's kind of like starting with small talk. So when you if you went into a room full of your ideal customers, you are gonna first of all have to start talking about the weather. Did you get parked? Where have you traveled from? And that small talk leads to, you know, other conversations as well. So I can sense that you're feeling uncomfortable about this, but I am actually going to tell you, yes, go onto their feed and say, that looks like an amazing family day out.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right. What's your Instagram username?
Mine.
Yeah, is it your name or
So
is it a
mine is
business
currently
name?
my name.
Right, okay. So they're gonna click on your name. It might, you know, it might be somebody's name, or you might have in your username the specialism that you work in, or you know, general painting, decorating. They click on it because they go, oh, who's this commenting on my post? They click on it, and like I say, as long as you are set up so they come straight into your feed and they can see exactly what it is you do. Yeah, they might be out with their on a family day out, posting about what they've eaten, posting about their holiday. but behind the scenes, they're like, oh, we really need somebody to help us with the kitchen.
So say, for example, you had, would you recommend a name or a business name? So say my name was Hand Painted Kitchens of Harpenden or something like that, you
Mm.
know, so I would make a comment and say, oh, that looks like a lovely place to visit. Nothing too creepy. Then they look at me, who the hell's made this comment? And they see Hand Painted Kitchens of, or specialist, whatever, you know, whatever field you want to be in. And then they'd be like, ah, you know, kind of,
Yeah, your username needs to be the name of your business, which I'm
yeah,
guessing that most people are taking then their own name, I would imagine. Or is
mm,
it 50-50?
not sure.
I think if you use your own name, no, that's fine. But when you look at your Instagram, your own Instagram feed, you've got your @ username, you've got your bio. Now, above your bio is a bit in bold. And when you go to edit profile, that bit in bold is called name. And it shouldn't, this is where people get confused. So, so in your situation, you might just see that and put in Gary or Gary Proctor. But if your username is @ Gary Proctor, then first of all, if you have been recommended to me and I'm looking you up, I'm going to find you because that's your username. If I don't know who you are, but I need what you offer, and I start searching up hand painted kitchens, you're not going to come up unless that bit in bold you put in there
Okay.
hand painted kitchens, because that bit in bold is highly, highly searchable. So you're then covering the recommendations that you're going to get. But really on Instagram, what you want to do is be reaching a whole new audience. So that bit in bold's really important. So I would encourage everyone to think about the keywords.
Mm.
Instagram have just increased the character limit that you can have for that bit in bold, which is great. But that's highly, highly searchable. And when people see your name in a list, they'll see your @ username and they'll see that bit underneath your name. So immediately, when that person clicks through and thinks, well, who's this guy, Gary, commenting on my post?
Mm.
Immediately they're going to see hand painted kitchens.
Okay.
And like I say, as long as your bio is really clear about what you offer and who's your ideal customer, who's this for, then they're going to go, oh, this looks interesting, and they're going to take a look at your feed.
Yeah. So again, going back to ideal customers, it's always when I've done marketing courses in the past, like your ICA, ideal
Mm.
customer avatar, and all this kind of stuff. It's so difficult. It's like, what do they read and all the rest of it. But I guess if you look at local businesses, like I've just said, you know, the kitchen company, it could be an interior designer company, local,
Yeah,
or the type of places where perhaps Mrs. Smith, who just wants a magnolia bedroom, she probably won't be
yeah,
kind of following those people. So you can be quite creative,
yeah,
can't you, and search for businesses where people, you know, they've got a bit of money if they've got interest in that particular company.
yeah. I think the easiest place to start is by looking at the followers in other feeds. I mean, obviously, you can look at who's following your competitors as well, which I know makes a lot of people feel a little bit icky. But competition is obviously good because it means choice, and you might find that people are following your competitor, but they haven't booked them yet because there's something not quite right. They're not quite offering what they want. So
Mm,
you're not stealing their followers away from them.
mm,
You're actually offering them what they actually want. But then, be a little bit sort of creative as well when you think about your ideal customer, and think about, you're talking about somebody who's got the budget. Is there a local golf club? I don't know. It
yeah,
seems to me that maybe people
yeah,
that play golf have some cash. Um, so it sounds like a strange one, but you could go to your local golf club's Instagram feed,
yeah.
have a look at their followers, and start going down the list of people there. You can also look at hashtags that people are using in their posts. So it might be hashtag new home. you know, hashtag renovations. Yes, that might be a hashtag that your competitors are using, but it might also be a hashtag that your ideal customer is using in their posts.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's I would start off with local businesses, but then kind of think a bit more, like I say, like the golf club kind of idea. Because I also run a jewelry business as
Yeah.
well. And when I when I had a sort of a lower range um, collection of jewelry, lower price collection of jewelry, which was quite colourful. This sounds crazy, but if I went into who was following IKEA, you know, cheap, colourful, honestly, I found all my ideal customers for that style of jewelry
Yeah.
in the IKEA Instagram feed. So yeah, just thinking like that, really, thinking about, and then because obviously you've got a geographical area that you need to stick to,
Yeah.
you know, really think about businesses in, think about where you're willing to travel to, and you know, have a look at businesses in villages, towns, cities. They might even classify themselves in, you know, the county, the borough that they're in.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah. It's just you can just use your own imagination, even like top star sort of restaurants and stuff.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
it's like,
exactly.
yeah, it's you can be, yeah, you just got to look at stuff differently, haven't you? And I think it's important
Yes,
as well if people, you know, the whole know, like, and trust, and not just doing before and afters, and you're hiding behind a
yeah,
camera. You know, I done a challenge once where, you know, one of the days was like, just do a selfie, you know, holding a paintbrush or whatever, and I had like the
yeah,
most comments
yeah.
on that particular post. And probably sympathetic comments because of my ugly mug, but either way, it worked, and it's good for people to see a face behind what you're doing.
Definitely, yeah, they definitely want to they definitely want to see who you are. And I think, yeah, there's two reasons for doing the selfie, and I call it the dreaded selfie because, you know, everyone hates doing it.
Yeah,
But there's two reasons. One is, yeah, put the face to the name to the face, you know, see exactly who you are. But the other is, like you say, you tend to get a lot more engagement on those types of posts. So coming back to that algorithm, you know, you put up a photo of you and then suddenly people are commenting. Obviously, it's quite relaxed, it's fine, it's great. But what happens is it triggers that algorithm. So the next time you post, the people that engaged on your previous post are going to see your next post. It's going to appear much higher in their Instagram feed. In fact, it might even appear top of their Instagram feed because they've indicated that they're interested in your content. And your content in that previous post was literally just a photo of you.
yeah, yeah,
And the other thing to do is to make sure that when people do comment on your posts, that you reply to every single comment. You know, even if there's nothing much to say, even if it's just thanks, you know, there's maybe no big conversation to be had,
mm,
but your reply to their comments counts as engagement on your own post.
yeah,
So you're effectively doubling your engagement on your post.
yeah. Couple other bits because I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're very busy. Reels and stories. What's this magical
Hmm.
world of reels and stories?
Yeah, so Instagram stories, you can be a bit more relaxed with stories. They're not on your main grid, they're not on your main feed, and they only stay there for 24 hours.
So that's the little circle at the top, isn't it?
Yes, that's on the top, that's right.
Yeah.
Now the majority of people that see your stories are the followers that you've already got. A tiny percentage of maybe potential new followers get to see it. But I would say about 95%, 96% of people who see your stories are the followers you've already got, which is still a good thing because there's two things you need to be doing on Instagram. One is nurturing the followers you've already got, helping them get to know you, keeping in touch with them so that when they need you, you know, they can see you there. And then, of course, the other thing that you're doing on Instagram is getting new followers in as well. So stories are still equally as important, but you can be a bit more relaxed with them. You know, put up the photos that you didn't think were good enough for your grid. Tell people what you're doing that day. Tell people the jobs that you're working on, that kind of thing.
Mm.
And then reels are just another way of presenting your content on your grid. But I would always say it's just choose what you feel comfortable doing. If you love doing video, do reels. If you just want to take photos, take photos. Instagram have now listened to, so people went up in arms a bit because, well, especially people who don't like doing video. They're saying there's this huge importance put onto reels. Reels are getting more reach. We don't like it. And Instagram have now brought the balance back down again between photos and video. So my suggestion would be do what you feel comfortable doing. I think it's always good to experiment with something new, but if it's going to stop you, you know, if it's going to mean you taking hours because you don't know what you're doing, you don't feel comfortable doing it, you retake it, you redo it, you edit it, then it's just not worth it. You just want to get something on your grid. So if you prefer video, do video. If you prefer photography, just take photos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you've kind of sold me. Like, it's like I feel I want to get on Instagram now more, and I dabble a little bit, but yeah, I can certainly see the potential. And I think it's like what you said initially. You know, a lot of my focus is on Facebook, and you know that's where I really concentrate. But it's certainly something worth looking into. And I believe, by the sounds of it, you potentially get more reach on Instagram if you do it correctly.
Yeah, I think the best balance is an Instagram feed and your own Facebook group. I think if you don't have your own Facebook group, then I agree with your personal profile, with your business page, reach is really, really low. It's really difficult to get in front of your ideal customers. And that's where Instagram is a lot better. But I think a really good balance is the Facebook group plus the Instagram feed. And make sure you're always, you know, telling your Instagram followers that you're on Facebook and telling your Facebook followers that you're on Instagram. Because you might find you've got people over on Facebook that prefer Instagram but didn't know you're on Instagram, you know, and vice versa.
Mm,
Or if you can get your potential customers on both, you're just doubling your chances
mm,
of getting your content seen by them. And the more they see you, the more visible you are, then
mm.
the more you're the person that's going to come to mind when they want to book the service that you offer.
Yeah. Final question, which has just come to me. So they're part of the same company, isn't it?
Mm,
Facebook and Instagram. Do
yeah.
you schedule on what's it called? Meta Suite?
So for Instagram then,
Do you do it just separately on each platform? Do you sort of use one Meta to send out to both, or do it individually?
so you might be a bit shocked by this. I don't recommend scheduling on Instagram. And the reason I don't recommend that is because, you know, like I said, with the algorithm, if you just schedule a post to go out on Instagram and it's on a Friday night when you're out, that post appears, but you've not done any work with that post to get it seen, to get the algorithm working with you. So I always post at a time where I've got time to post. So you've done your post, your caption, your hashtags, and then I'm spending 20 minutes straight after posting in the feeds of my ideal customers, engaging on their posts, drawing attention back to my feed, my
Okay.
most recent post.
Mm,
They're coming back in, they're spotting this new post, they're engaging on it, and then the algorithm is, I've just kicked that algorithm in my favor, and then the algorithm, you know, does a lot for me.
yeah, gotcha.
Now, if somebody, I know that a lot of people love, you know, that's how they work, you know, they schedule. So if you are a scheduler, then just make sure that you're scheduling your posts for Instagram at a time when you are available. So I know that a lot of people like to be organized and have these scheduled, but schedule it, if you're free on a Monday morning, then make sure you set an alert on your phone or you pop it in your diary, Instagram post going out. So you can have it nicely scheduled, it goes out, and then you spend 20 minutes in the feeds of your ideal customers. I just call it working on the post. You can't just
Yeah.
post and run. You need to do something with that post.
So basically, a lot of people feel they can be doing like their marketing by scheduling and just letting it go. But then what you're saying is that's pretty much useless. You've got to schedule it and then you've got to work on that particular post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's literally just adding another 20 minutes to it.
Yeah.
So it's still like, yeah, if you like to schedule, still schedule,
Yeah.
but for a time when you're available. Yeah. And then in my Facebook group, that's a whole different thing. And I do schedule into the Facebook group. Yeah.
Yeah, so I schedule into my Facebook group, but then I set it at a time where I do interact as soon as that schedule goes
Yes.
out, 7 o'clock every
Yeah.
single morning. So
Okay.
otherwise it
Similar
just
thing.
lies dormant. And like you say, if you comment and like people's posts, it creates more
Yeah.
engagement and sends more people to kind of look at it.
Yes, that's right. Exactly that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't believe have you got any other wonderful tips for us? Or, I mean, we've covered absolutely loads. It's been
I think
incredibly helpful.
good. I think the thing that I would like to leave everyone with is that engaging on Instagram is more important than posting. I mean, yes, of course you need to post, but that engagement is really key to being successful on Instagram. And don't just sit back and wait for your ideal customers to find you. You go and find them, and it will feel a little bit uncomfortable to begin with, but once you start doing that and you start seeing them filter into your Instagram feed, it's really, really rewarding.
So it's posting, say, twice a week, but then being active with it as opposed to 5, 6, 7 days a week,
Yes,
you're doing no interaction. Twice a week's
yes,
better. Yeah.
exactly
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll give you all my links to share with everybody. I do have the Instagram growth and engagement course, which goes into finding your ideal customers in a lot more detail as well.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'm just going to quickly see if Andy or Dan want to ask any questions
Yeah,
before
sure.
you go, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Andy first. Hold on a second.
Hello.
Andy,
Hi.
have you
Hi.
finished your room yet?
I'm doing doors today. I've done all the walls. It's all woodwork.
Let me check you're cutting in. Hold on.
Wait, I've done the wrong one cutting in. It's all right. I've got the boy
Yeah.
with me today. So
You got any questions, Andy?
it's been very interesting. I actually did a lot of work for a so-called influencer, and I just was listening to you. And what's the lady's name? Sorry,
You said Triinu.
Triinu. Yeah.
Triinu. I heard you were up in Scotland, so I'm not going to mention the certain influencer's name, but we fell out because, unfortunately, she taught me a lot about the platform. I've got quite a good following. I do 3 or 4 stories a day. I post once a week. What I post on my Instagram goes onto my Facebook so that I'm not leaving them out. So everything's kind of interlinked. I'm not great. I mean, I was 6 months before my 14-year-old told me that I was spelling real wrong. So I was writing REAL rather than REEL. So, but anyway, folks still liked it. Do you know what I mean? So I agree
Yeah.
with what you're
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. If I put pictures of the kids up, I've got insights and all that sort of stuff with my kids on it. People love when I put pictures of my daughter up. Always gets good reaction. I'm going to take on board what you said about commenting on other things locally on local pages. Hopefully that'll boost things up.
Yeah.
The one thing that's the hashtag thing I struggle with, because if you say, for instance, use the hashtag home decor, right? Then what you get is you get all these people jumping on, liking your post, but then they say, share your post to this. And then it's somebody trying to sell you to get you 50 million followers. That's really just one person sitting in a room with a computer with 50 million accounts.
Yeah.
So is there a way of finding out your ideal hashtags, or is it really just basically taking that sort of couple hours one night and sitting down, looking at your competitors and seeing what hashtags they actually use?
Yeah. So first of all, I would say that when you get those comments saying, yeah, DM me or promote it here, I would delete those comments off your feed because it
Right,
then
okay.
makes your feed look a bit spammy. With an iPhone, you literally just swipe to the left and hit delete. So I would get rid of those. You
Right,
don't
okay.
want those people sort of on your feed. But yeah, no, hashtags, it's very much thinking about what your ideal customer is going to be looking up. So I think, yeah, there's the obvious hashtags, but then, so if I was somebody who doesn't know anything about decorating, if I was wanting to decorate a room, I might start off with hashtag living room ideas. That's where I
Okay.
might start looking. Now, I'm not going to do it myself, but I'm looking up ideas first of all. Hashtag decorating hints and tips, because maybe I think that I'm going to do it.
Uh-huh.
But then, I come across your page and I'm like, oh, actually, no, I'm not going to do it myself. So it's sort of expanding on those hashtags. But yeah, definitely having a look at hashtags that your competitors are using is a good idea. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've got the right hashtags, but really think about other types of hashtags that your ideal customers might be looking up. And then if they are looking for somebody like you, how do they describe you? Because they might not describe you in the way you describe yourself.
Yes.
Um, so there might be lots of different words for decorator, lots of different words for painter. And think about making your hashtags a little bit longer as well. So home decorator, or I can't quite think off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. I do also have a course on hashtags as well, which is on my website.
Well,
Yeah, no,
I'll be sure to look it up. I mean, always some of my hashtags, I try and make my hashtags quite personal to the people that I'm working for. So I'll always put on the, hashtag John makes a rubbish cup of coffee or something like that. Something so that the customer feels involved. And a lot of my customers that I work for do involve themselves with my social media, and I always get the same folk commenting. They'll say, "Oh, Andy, next time you're down at my house, bring that colour supply down and see if it'll work in my living room and stuff like that." But I'm definitely going to check out the hashtag thing because I think that's a
Yeah.
massive thing. I only have one other question, and I won't nip your nut. Well, I've got one thing I've got to say, and then one question. So I'll be quick. So I always start my hashtags with my company name. So a hashtag I brush too much, and then a hashtag a rocker with a roller, which is like my slogan. Is that
Okay.
okay to do that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Don't use the same set of hashtags in the same order for every single post. So
Right.
always make sure you mix up your hashtags, even if you've just mixed up the order. It is a good idea to have a list of hashtags that you can use. If you end up using the same set of hashtags and you've literally just copied and pasted it from one post to the next, it can look a bit spammy, and it can look like maybe a bot is doing it. And you can end up getting a shadow ban on your Instagram account, which is a whole
Right.
other
Okay.
topic. But basically, you don't want to have a shadow ban. Luckily it's a temporary ban, but it will reduce the visibility of your feed. So with
Right. Okay.
hashtags, always make sure you mix them up. You're allowed to use 30 hashtags, and I would advise you to use as close to 30 as you can, because each hashtag is a bit like it's like free advertising. So why wouldn't you use as many
Oh
as
yeah, I
you're
see
allowed
that in my
to?
insights. It says, so many from hashtags, so many
Yes,
from. Yeah, no,
yes.
absolutely. I think I'm using too much at 10, so obviously that's something I need to do.
Okay.
My other question is this, right? See how Gary's got this amazing platform where he's got 5,000 decorators all over the country who are, some of them will want to talk, some of them won't, some of them will want advice, some of them will give advice. Now, I know that you don't want your platforms full of followers that aren't going to do anything, but if you could be the best painter and decorator in the world, but if you've only got 10 followers, people are going to be like, well, he's only got 10 followers, he can't be that good. And it doesn't matter how good your work is in the picture. Do you understand what I mean? So would it be would it be worthwhile to try and support each other within? I know there's one of the guys on the VIP group, Nathan, that'll put his page up and he'll say, follow me and I'll follow you. And, I try and comment on his work to try and show that as a professional, I appreciate the work that's went into that job. Whether it's just a white wall or not, I appreciate the efforts that he's put into that. Is that something that we could all work on together?
Yeah, definitely. You want your followers to be made up of your ideal customers and what I call your cheerleaders. So of course, if it's a direct competitor that lives close to you, you possibly don't want to be following each other. But if it's painters and decorators in Gary's group and they're all over the country, then yes, if you then support each other. So if somebody who's the other side of the country jumps onto your Instagram feed and comments on your post, then that little comment is them doing you a massive favor, because it's going to kick that algorithm, in your favor. And the next, yes, that person isn't your ideal customer. They're not going to book you, but the next person to see your post may well be your ideal customer. And the reason they've seen your post is because a fellow painter and decorator from this group has gone and supported you by commenting on your post. So yeah, getting together, following each other, commenting on each other's posts is a really good idea, definitely.
Yeah, and Andy, that's a great shout, mate, because the reason, I think it goes against, so Facebook pages, there's no point liking a page, is my understanding, because you're never going to interact on that page like Facebook page. But Andy, that's a great point, mate. I mean, if like you say, that does help, then we definitely get all over that and support each other. So that's a brilliant one, Andy.
No, absolutely. I mean, I seen the other day you were in St Albans. I've got followers on my Instagram who stay in St Albans. So if me and you are tied together and they are actively like my work, through respect for me, they might not ever use you, but they might follow you. So therefore that's giving you, and it might be their mother's, daughter's, cousin's, son that uses you. Do you know what I mean? So it's about using the platform that you've created, which is amazing, and using it to benefit us. So I think I've got about 1,140 followers on Instagram, right? I get a good reaction. If I put a story up, generally within the 24 hours, I get about 400 to 450 views, which is above the 10%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of these people are all over the country. Do you know what I mean? So if we could, if even if 20% of Brushwood's main group liked my page and I gave their pages a shout out on my page and I liked their page, you could be double, treble, quadrupling the amount of followers you've got, but you've also got people there who you're potentially, like, I'm always going to comment on Gary's work because I see, even though we've never met, I see us as professionals and I see us as friends. So it doesn't matter what he's done. I'm going to say, yeah, I can see the work that's went into that. That's great. It's a comment. It's interaction, which is what people are looking for, I suppose.
Yeah,
I think.
Definitely, Andy. Yeah, top man, mate. If you don't mind, Andy, I'm just going to quickly ask Dan, because I don't want to keep Triinu for much longer.
No, sorry, I tend to talk a lot of nonsense.
No, it's all good, mate.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, Andy.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I missed the majority of the session, so any questions I've got have probably been answered. So I'll watch the recording back in there.
Yeah, nice sweat, Dan.
But yeah, what Andy just said at the end there was a really good idea. All engaging on each other's posts and just boosting that algorithm, I guess.
Yeah, it's a fantastic idea. I believe we're separated enough to really support each other, and you know, even locally, that's one of my ideas of Brush Wizard, is to connect more people, not just UK, but regionally, so we can help each other out with work, even connect socially or whatever people want to do, you know, bring the community together. So, yeah, I mean, there's been loads of golden nuggets, Stan, to look back
Yeah, I
on.
can imagine.
Um,
I got caught on a Zoom call with the Appy people
oh
that
yeah,
you posted about yesterday. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, no, he's a good bloke as well.
yeah, I was expecting to be finished by 10, but ran till 10:30.
Yeah, no problem. So you got no questions as such?
No, I'm good, thanks.
All right, Dan. Nice to see you, mate.
And you?
You take care. Right, we're going to let you go, Triinu. I appreciate you coming on.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Nice to
so
meet you.
what I'll do, I'll
And
send all the links and stuff like that. I know you've got lots of stuff you can offer my members if they want to pursue and look at it further.
yes, I'll send you the links. But if people go, so my business name is Creative Puddles, and if you go to www.creativepuddles.com, you'll see a section on Instagram training, and I've got all my courses in there. But I'll send that to you after I get off this call. But lovely to meet everyone.
Yeah, no, lovely to see you too. And Andy and Dan, have a good day, and I'll catch you all later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.